So on a rare Sunday morning that I was home, and because I'm a press secretary by career, every TV, all those studies about don't let your children watch TV, I'm sorry, it's not happening in my house. So all the TVs are on all the time because I wake up with the news, I go to bed with the news, I got CNN on, and the morning shows are on, and there's just a ton of footage of then Senator Clinton, a lot of B-roll on the Meet the Press and all that stuff. And my then 5-year-old son runs in the bedroom, we're getting dressed to go to church, and he runs in and he sees the TV hanging in the corner of our bedroom, and he says, "Oh, what's that? Is that," he calls her Mrs. Clinton, "is that Mrs. Clinton?" And I said, "Yes, it is." And he says, "Mama, when I grow up, I want to be president too." I thought, this is such an awesome American moment. Like, I thought that was somebody made that up at Hallmark. The kids do that. Like, when I grow up, I want to be president. America's great. You know, I thought that was kind of crazy. And I'm kind of like, and I said, "Baby, you work hard. You do everything right. You believe in it. You can do that. That's what's great about America, right?" So about 2 seconds later, his 3-year-old little sister walks in. And what do little sisters do? Me too. Me too. Me too. I want to too. And my 5-year-old son, Kiki McLean's 5-year-old son, my son in my house, right, turned around and said, "You can't. You're a girl." Child Protective Services did not come. The bruising where I grabbed him was gone quickly. It wasn't hard. It was just kind of like that. Where I grabbed him and I looked him in the face and I said, "Don't ever tell your little sister there's something she can't do. Don't you ever say that to her, because she can. She has the capability to do anything she wants to do." But what we know the question is, and what you all know as MBA students is, do you have the qualifications? So I want you to go back to 7th grade life sciences. And I want you to remember how you learned about evolution, right? There were dinosaurs that became lizards, that became amphibians, that became crocodiles. I'm sure I got that wrong and flunked it on my SAT. And then there were dinosaurs that flew, that became birds, right? And everything began to happen, but a whole ecosystem had to happen. No one thing could evolve by itself, right? Lots of things had to evolve with it. So here's what happens. The same thing is true for us. Go look at corporate America. Not one thing had to change. Lots of things had to begin to evolve over time until now you have some women who are CEOs. Now you have women who sit on boards. Now you have women who can be an executive not limited to HR or communications, which, by the way, is true in politics, too. It's always the press secretary and the scheduler, right, that can be the girls, okay? But it's about the evolution, because here's the deal. When one person taps through, that doesn't make the rest of us qualified yet. What it does is it begins the process of the evolution. How many women do we have in the Senate?
20.
20. That's pretty good, 20. That's pretty good, right? We're in better shape there. How many women governors? 5. Okay, we were on our way, Democrats were on the way. We fostered electing women as governors, right? Because women are great CEOs. Right? And by the way, any of you who are interested in the path for women up the CEO route of politics, mayor, governors, into the presidency, go look at Barbara Lee, at the Barbara Lee Foundation, and the research and the studies they've done about what we have to do to run women for CEO slots. That's different than running for the city council. That's different than running for Congress. To be the governor is to be the CEO. And the way and the rules in which voters look at women running for the CEO job, very, very different. Right? The psychology behind it, very different. You will have the privilege of watching that race in the state this year and watch that come to life with Wendy Davis. Whether you're for or against her, you're going to see the dynamic of politics at play in that. And it's not a gender fight. Remember, it's a CEO fight. So in corporate America, you have the evolution. One woman busts up the ranks and kind of has the guts to teach a guy how to work with her, right? That whole deal about recruit some men, go ahead and do it. They need a leader. Bring them in. Be the woman who leads them into this MBA program, right? Don't let them flounder out there by themselves without the proper education or skills to move forward in their career, right? Okay, so here we go. We've got the evolution, right? So now we've got a woman in corporate America. She works her way into the C-suite. She works her way onto the executive management committee. She might even work her way into CEO, Carly Fiorino, right? Some of the early ladies who have done it and had success and failure and success and failure and success and failure, because that's what an executive life is. Because if you're a good executive, you keep trying and you take risks. And all of a sudden, what happens? All of a sudden, you kick the door open and you send Gail to get her MBA. and say, I think you're capable. Now I need you to be qualified. Go get your MBA and come back to me. And then, guess what? I'm going to make you the CFO. Now I got 2 executive positions, one a non-traditional female one, right? And all of a sudden we begin to build what would be a different thing, which is that men don't mind having us at the table, but they're not used to using us at the table. And that's where the difference comes in. In that ecosystem is all of you, right? How many of you watch presidential debates? It's great. How many of you act on what you learn from them? It's got to be more. You got to write a letter. There are lots of ways to serve. If you're willing to run for office at the school board, county commission, hell, your condo board, do it, right? You do not assume power and leadership by sitting quietly on the sidelines. It doesn't mean you have to be willing to run for president of the United States, but it means you show up and pick a candidate and support them and get involved. It might mean you simply drive your 5 neighbors to the polls on election day, preferably 5 women. If the guys are late, that's their problem, right? But you have to get involved in some way. In your company, agree to chair the PAC. You all are working for companies that have PACs. Get involved. Become part of the lobbying team, the volunteer organization in your company. Become involved. And again, there are many ways to serve, but the only way we get to where political leadership is the common culture experience in the United States is if the ecosystem is at full blossom. I don't think politics is a bad place for women at all. I think urgency creates opportunity. And there is no place where things are more urgent than in the world of politics. So whether you're 22 and volunteering on your first campaign, and a campaign manager who's all of 25 and looks at you and says, I need 13 cars for a motorcade tomorrow, the Senate candidate's coming in and I don't know where I'm going to get them, and you're the girl who gets the 13 cars, guess what? You're going to the next campaign that's a statewide with them. And when you get to that campaign, you're going to solve the next problem. And you're going to get invited to be the deputy campaign manager. And at the next campaign, the candidate's going to have a question, and you're going to be the one at the table who can answer it. And guess what? You're going to be the chief of staff. So remember that. Urgency creates opportunity. And as women, the men won't hold it from us, but we have to go get it. And we have to perform in those urgent moments to fill that ecosystem out, to give us that opportunity.